Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me borrow the car in this video. Toyota of Naperville is one of the largest Toyota dealers in Illinois, ready to find the right car for you.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2018 Range Rover Sport HSE. Up front is a 3.0-liter supercharged V6, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Range Rover for a couple of reasons. Mainly the fact that I don't film many Range Rovers here on the channel. They're very hard to get your hands on for many reasons. But in my efforts to bring you the most diverse collection of automotive reviews on YouTube, I have to review a Range Rover every once in a while. And I say have to. I have heated seats. This is a luxury SUV. I'm not quite roughing it this morning. So when someone asks you, hey, do you want to review a Range Rover? You kind of say yes. So that's what we're doing today. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackprado.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one. And you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 3-liter supercharged V6 under the hood. Well, there were several engines offered here in the Range Rover Sport for 2018. This is actually somewhat kind of the base engine. Now, there was also a 3-liter diesel engine offered, and you could go up to the supercharged V8s. That's where you really start to notice the power. Because this is such a heavy car, the 3-liter supercharged engine, yeah, it makes 340 horsepower, but you need 339 just to get this thing moving. However, this wouldn't be considered a slouch per se, so let's see how it does. Now, interestingly, I don't have a sport mode, but we'll try it. Not bad. Definitely doesn't have that throaty punch that the V8s do, but still, this thing's going to get up and get out of its own way. Highway on-ramps are not going to be an issue, and that's exactly what I would expect out of a Range Rover. If it was anything else, I'd be a little skeptical. Like I said, paired to an 8-speed automatic, as you heard, it doesn't shift lightning quick, but it keeps it in that healthy fuel economy range, and that's what I want a transmission to do. Last but not least, of course, the Range Rover Sport is all-wheel drive. So how does it feel to actually drive the Range Rover Sport HSE? Well, it does feel pretty big. This is not a small Range Rover. That's what the Evoque is for. And this honestly does feel bigger than the Defender. Frontward visibility is pretty good for, a vehicle in this segment. It's not going to be a glass bubble, but it's not awful either. The steering is a little heavy, a little bit heavier than I would have liked, and I am in comfort mode, so that's a little disappointing, but the power I think is fine, and the overall driving experience is pretty good. Road noise is really low, it's comfortable, and that's what I want out of a Range Rover. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I do have a digital gauge cluster. Off to the left is my speed, off to the right is my tachometer, as well as what gear I'm in, and I get a little information screen in the center. This changes with the drive mode, and it gives you important information. I overall really like the look and feel of the gauge cluster. I think it's a very modern feel, and it's easy to see in pretty much all lighting conditions. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my volume, skip track, and menu, as well as my phone and voice options. And that little diamond button is actually a favorite button. So I can set it to cancel the guidance, play or pause, voicemail, mute phone, source, and all these other really, really nice options. I can set it to be whatever I want, and I think more cars should do that. Off to the right, I just have my cruise control settings, and the overall steering wheel looks and feels fine. It does have perforated leather, but like I said, it's a little heavy, a little bit heavier than I would have liked. Off to the left, I have a giant climate control vent, as well as my tailgate button and gauge dimmer switch down below. And then moving onto the door, the power mirrors and power windows are up really, really high. And I'll tell you why this annoys me, because down below, I have my lock and unlock and memory seat options. And so far, 3 times while driving this car, I have reached to put the window down, and then I just put it into memory seat 3. I feel like these should be switched in terms of location, but I'm not a designer over at Range Rover. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch, as well as this is where the start-stop button is. And actually off to the right, I have 2 little arrow buttons. So the upper arrow opens the upper glove box, and the lower arrow lowers the lower glove box. This is interesting. Again, this is a war on regular glove box handles. I don't know why glove box handles are now becoming obsolete, but I guess Range Rover found them annoying, as did Cadillac and Volvo. But moving back into the center, we do have 2 infotainment screens. So the first upper one, this is going to run your navigation, your media, your phone, as well as your cameras. I can look at a couple different camera angles. Of course, this is what the backup camera looks like and all of that goodiness. But then down below, this is for our climate controls. This is for our seats and the vehicle. So I can select different drive modes here. I have Eco, Comfort, Grass, Gravel, Snow, Mud Ruts, and Sand. So a couple of different drive modes offered here in the Range Rover Sport, as well as I get these sort of Mustang Mach-E styled dials where there's screen behind the dials. Very, very interesting, and I'm sure rather costly when they break. I don't love that the climate controls are ran through a screen. I always prefer physical climate controls, but I think these are fine. I mean, what can you do? Then we come to the center console. Off to the left is the shifter. Down below that, I have traction control. And then I have some interesting buttons. So I can also raise and lower the vehicle. This does have air suspension. So you can raise it up to go over some bumps, or you can lower it down to have a lower drag coefficient. As well as I could switch my drive modes from a dial as opposed to requiring the screen. So you don't have to switch the drive modes through the screen if you don't want to. I also have hill descent control and my power parking brake. Off to the right of that, we do have an openable cubby, which reveals the cup holders. So we will do a big freaking bottle test here in the Range Rover Sport HSE. And although it fails in the back cup holder, I had really low expectations. It actually passes in the front cup holder. So the Range Rover Sport HSE from 2018 passes the big friggin' bottle test. Then I do get a center console with a SIM card slot, HDMI, USB, and some storage, as well as I can turn the center console into a cool box. So if I have some soda pops I want to keep cool for the drive back to Illinois, I can put them in here and keep them chilled along the way. I always like that feature. Some Toyotas have offered that feature, and I think it's very, very overlooked and very useful. The seats are comfortable. They are heated, they are power, and they are memory. So I am enjoying the experience. I think they hold me in pretty well. They're easy to get in and out of, and I don't have any complaints. However, speaking of seats, we do have a second row of seating, so let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2018 Range Rover Sport HSE, and a couple of things to note. First of all, knee room is decent. Could use a little bit more space, but that's okay. Headroom is really good, of course, helped out by this moonroof that I really, really enjoy. I get 2 speakers on the door. Down in the center, I get 2 climate control vents, as well as heated seat options, 2 5-volt chargers, and a 12-volt outlet. And then over here, I do have a center console that comes down. It's actually like the whole seat. And I have 2 cup holders in here, little cubby for storage, things like that. It's kind of hard to do because you have to pull this down. So look at the weird angle my arm's at. I'm like a Pixar cartoon. Ugh. And then you have to pull it this way, which my arm doesn't normally go. So kind of weird ergonomically, but that's okay. Now, you can find these with a third row. However, this is just the 2-row variant, so there is no third row to talk about. But overall, it's a pretty comfortable back seat. I have tons of amenities back here, which I really, really like, and it would be a pretty enjoyable experience to go the distance in the back of the Range Rover Sport HSE. But speaking of space, let's hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Range Rover Sport. Little button back there, and it is a power tailgate, of course. And once we are back here, this is a bunch of Land Rover goodies that you get when you buy the car. Kind of interesting there. I do have a 12-volt outlet up over there. I have a privacy cover I can pull, as well as under here, we do get the spare tire. However, interestingly enough, this actually has a diagram to not pull it over the third row, although this actually isn't equipped with the third row. Kind of a funny little diagram there. Overall, pretty good space. I can also raise and lower the Range Rover from back here, which is super, super cool. I don't know if you could tell that it's actually going up. And it moves a lot more than the Volvo XC90. I just raised that pretty much all the way up. Look at that ground clearance now, which is pretty insane. And then I can bring it all the way back down as well. And as you can see, the wheel gap has now disappeared. So very, very cool feature in the back of the Range Rover, and it works a lot better than Volvo's setup. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I have always really, really loved the look of these Range Rovers. I think they're styled really, really well. I also love this red color, and I love the wheels that are on this particular Range Rover Sport. They almost remind me of like Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio wheels almost, or like some Italian designed wheels, and yet they're found here on a Range Rover. I find that kind of interesting. But the overall exterior, getting back to the walk around, is very handsome, and I've always liked them. I think they look exactly like how you would think that they would look, and that to me is a good thing. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a Range Rover Sport HSE from 2018? Well, this isn't my first Range Rover that I've driven. I've driven a handful here on the channel, albeit not a whole lot, but a couple. And I have to say, the actual experience is pretty good. Yeah, the steering's a little heavy, but it's comfortable, it's easy to drive, my butt is getting heated, my ears are being treated by this great Meridian sound system. It's a good car to drive. But if I'm being totally honest, I kind of don't care. Maybe this is because Range Rovers are so out of my price range that I can't even conceptualize trying to buy one. Maybe it's because they haven't changed their design in several years. Maybe it's because the engine underneath is derived from the Jaguar 3-liter supercharged, which is derived from when they were paired up with Ford. Through all of this, though, I just find myself not really caring. Oh my God, wait. The odometer is 02345. 0. That's a fun little Easter egg. Getting back to it. This car was originally almost $80,000, and I honestly couldn't give a rip. Am I alone in that? Am I jaded? Am I off the path about not caring about these cars? I mean, they're not bad cars. The maintenance is, well, the maintenance will get you, but it's not an inherently bad automobile with maintenance aside. Why don't I care about this? Why was I more excited to drive a base model Kia Soul this morning? I don't know. Everything in here should make me excited. It's a luxury supercharged SUV. Is something wrong with me? High probability. Very high probability. I don't know. But in my reviews, I want to be honest, and I want to treat these as if we're friends. And I sat down at the dinner table, had a meal, and you asked me, what do you think about X, Y, or Z, in this instance being the Range Rover Sport? And I want to tell you exactly how I feel, and that is that I don't care. I'm not going to brag about this car. I probably won't even think about this car after this video goes live. And for $80,000, I would hope that there was some type of impression left. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville. They're absolutely awesome. This is one of their used vehicles. No idea what someone traded this in for, but Toyota's absolutely awesome. Way more reliable than this vehicle will ever be, any of Toyota's products, and way more affordable. So please go check out Toyota of Naperville. We've been working together for years. They are top-notch when it comes to dealerships. One of my favorite dealerships to work with, and I can't say enough good things about them. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. I guess I'll end it with a pull. Maybe that will spark some emotion back into me. Take care, guys.